Well, hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm coming to you live from my piled up shed. Home vlog time, everybody. This is your official invite to go ahead and hang out with us today. So we are going to, my son and I are going to go ahead and clean up our backyard because now that the weather has started to warm back up again, I'm gonna have to put my glasses on, but we need to clean up the backyard because the grass, it's not really grass, it's really weeds, honestly. They're starting to grow again. There's a bunch of stuff that we need to go ahead and rake up. We have like a bunch of dead grass and leaves and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and rake all that stuff up. But I also have to make a pile that I'm going to eventually take to the dump. I will have to rent a truck at some point, but we're just basically gonna try to clean up as much of the backyard as we can. So when the dogs do come out here to go potty and everything, it's not looking the way it's looking, because I'm going to turn the camera around and show you guys what we're working with today. It's not pretty, but it's what we've got. So I also have a natural bug repellent that I want to hopefully spray the yard down with when I'm done, so that'll repel any bugs or insects or anything like that. So that's also something that is on the list to do. But yeah, that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to clean up the backyard, and like I said, I'm going to show you guys. It's gotten pretty piled up, and you're going to see some piles of stuff in the yard. This is from last time when we were out here. We had dug a bunch of stuff up, like old posts and stuff that had concrete around them. The posts had rotted from older fences that we had had in the past, and just from, you know, the sand shifting and moving, it caused that stuff to kind of like resurface and come to the top. So we dug a bunch of stuff up, and it's kind of sitting in the middle here. We also have some PVC that is from an old, like, somebody did like a makeshift pump. We used to have an above ground pool back here. Somebody did a makeshift pump for us years ago with an actual real pool pump for an in-ground pool, and it worked phenomenal, because the pumps that come with the above grounds are, they're not good. They just do not push and pull and move the water like it needs to be moved, even in an above ground, because the one we had was a pretty large pool. It was a pretty decent size. Here it is. And back here, this whole thing, I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit for you. You'll see there's like a bunch of dips and sand. So there used to be a pile that was here years ago that somebody had wound up kind of like digging up for us, if you will, and it never got finished, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to level this out as best as I can. I doubt we'll be able to really level a lot of it out today, though, because that's just going to be a lot of work. But as you can see, we have a lot of dead leaves and stuff, and it's from it happens to be from the tree right here, which is fine, but this is a mango tree. So I do hope it blooms, because after all the cold and everything, as you can see, I do hope, like I said, it blooms again, because this is a beautiful mango tree, and it produced beautiful mangoes when it was blooming and it was in season. But anyway, so yeah, and then we have this horrible pile here. My son and I moved this last year. It used to be over here on this wall, this side of the house. And as you can see, there's a bunch of, this is part of the stuff that I'm going to be pitching and taking to the dump at some point. And then in the middle of the yard, I just told you guys about the posts and stuff, so there's that to deal with. And this is the old pump that I told you guys about. This is the old makeshift pump that somebody had made for us. Obviously, it's no good anymore. We don't need it. So that also needs to go to the dump at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then if I pan around this way towards the gate, as you can see, there's, you know, it's not that it's tall grass, and it's not really grass. It's mainly weeds and stuff that we need to go ahead and take care of. That's what we're going to go ahead and do. We also do have to go down the side of the house right here, and then the other side of the house, because there's a bunch of weeds and stuff that grew up back there. But temperature wise, it's not too bad. It is a bit warmer today, but it's not terrible right now. So I mean, I'm sure we're going to sweat to some degree, but it's not going to be anything hopefully too terrible. And I would like to get this under control before it starts to really, really warm up again, because obviously in the summer months, what we're going to have to do is, when all of this really starts to grow back up, we're going to have to keep on top of it, because then we're going to have a ton of rain, which obviously causes everything to grow faster. So yeah, anyways, but yeah, that's it. We're going to get ready to do fun yard stuff. There you go. But this is what we're working with. So let's get started. Okay, I was getting ready to go back in the house and get our water bottle, and look what I just found. There was a snake apparently that came through our yard and shed its skin. Okay, I'm curious now. Oh, look, guys. Look. Oh, geez, I just broke it. I think that was the mouth right there. I don't know. Let's see where it ends. Looks like a baby one. Yeah, it was a baby one, because tail's right here. Ends right here. Goes around. There's a little baby one. Look at that. That is so cool. I've never seen one kind of pretty much fully intact. I mean, until I broke it, but holy cow, that is cool. Okay, a few moments later. So here's this corner I just showed you guys. Here's another thing, okay? This nothing is connected. This is a ton of old cable wire through the years, and I can't pull this one up. But here's the piece, this piece, which is connected to, you see the tubing right here, which is obviously from the cable company, okay? But then the other problem we have is, here's some more of it here. And then if I go further over here, here's another piece, because this is all like dug underground. And then the other problem we're having is directly under the shed, we discovered there's another wire that surfaced, which is right here. These are not snakes, okay? And we can't pull it up because it's under here. And that's another issue we're having. And the other thing is, years ago, we used to have this massive cactus tree that was all the way on the opposite side of the yard. And this is how far down and out the root grew. And this is still the root. And my plan was to go ahead and cut it so we can get this out of the way. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm almost gonna feel bad if I cut that, because even though there's no longer that cactus there, because it was dead, it was dying, which for a cactus, I feel like that's kind of odd, because cactuses are they're a desert plant, you know? But this one, the problem we had with this one, it got diseased, and it just wasn't doing good. But I mean, the thing grew very tall, and my son and I, over the course of several weeks, had to cut that down and then dig down to like pull that stump up. But then we discovered, as we were doing the yard, that root came all the way down here. So like I said, I'm gonna feel really bad, but I don't want to leave it here and then have anybody trip on it. And then the other thing is, though, I realized, because the yard is uneven, like I showed you. Sorry, that's our dog, our neighbor's dog. He's a cutie pie. I mean, I could cover it up if I even out the yard, but I feel like it'll still be an issue, because that's a really thick stump or root. So I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, this is the progress I've made so far as raking up piles of leaves and stuff. So I got basically 2 piles going here, and there's the other pile, and I found a Lego in our yard, so that's fun. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm just gonna keep going and decide what I want to do with that root. More than likely I will end up cutting it, but I don't know. All right, so progress so far is pretty good. And if you guys all look, I still got some piles right here and here, if you will. And then I did go ahead and I've already filled up 3 trash cans. My son is pretty much done doing the weed whacking and the mowing for the most part. And then we were able to go ahead and finish piling everything on the side of the house here that I was telling you guys earlier we're planning on taking to the dump at some point. Unfortunately, because we have other stuff we have to take care of tomorrow, unfortunately, we won't be able to come back out into the yard tomorrow and do any more yard work. So because of that, this is going to have to wait until like all the way next week when I'm off again. But at least it's mowed. And even with some of the piles here in the yard, I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, the dogs can still come out and do their business and, you know, whatnot. But I think what my son's going to do really quickly, actually, my bad, he's going to like really quick run the mower in the front yard to at least get part of that down. But we will have to make that a project as well, to go out front and rake all the stuff up that's there, because the bougainvillea, we have this huge bougainvillea and it blooms beautifully during the hot summer months. But the massive amount of cold that we got this year completely killed it. And then there's also a pretty like nice plant that got fairly tall in the garden bed area, and unfortunately the cold freeze killed that too. So pardon my voice. I've been out here now for a little bit, and I swear to you guys, I have eaten more sand than I care to admit, unfortunately. So I have no doubt that's why my voice is all messed up. Allergies, and I kicked up a bunch of stuff in the yard, which was to be expected. But yeah, so progress is pretty good, and unfortunately I didn't get around to cutting any of the cable wires that I showed you guys. I was hoping to, you know, go get my wire cutters and do that, but I'm not going to worry about it tonight, because my biggest thing was making sure that we got the yard mowed, got everything, you know, edged everything, got the weed whacker out and did that, and then of course started the piles for all the leaves and the dead grass and whatnot. So yeah, not too bad for the few hours that we've been out here, and weather-wise it's still pretty good, and the temperature is even nicer now that the sun is starting to set. But really quick, I'm going to show you what we have here on the side of the house that'll have to be at some point taken to be, you know, adios amigos, if you will. So here it is. We've got everything all piled up, if you will. And then this wood right here, this is from the side of our house. That's an addition that was put on to the back of the house years ago. And my mom was able to find somebody to come and completely rip all the old board off. As you guys can see, the person that originally did it for us years ago did not install anything properly, did not put anything behind these boards and the wood and the insulation. They literally just slapped this wood over top the insulation and the 2x4s and called it a day. So everything started to rot really bad. But then here's those pieces to the old pool pump, and then this is the chunks of concrete from when we were digging up like old posts and stuff out of the ground. I do actually have one all the way back there. You guys probably can't see it. See that one sticking up? It's like right at the middle where that the fence like has a pie shape. There is a post there, a fence post. I will need to dig that up, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. But so this is the room, the addition that was put on years ago, and the siding on it completely got redone, which is really, really good. And then this is where we had the person that had originally done it. They ran the, there was conduit in the ground that was running the wires for the pool, but we obviously don't need that anymore. And we do have a portable AC in there, so that's what that's for. So yeah, for that addition to the house, that used to be my room umpteen years ago, and that was the first room to get ruined years and years ago when we had sustained damage to the house from Hurricane Irma. And the damage came about because there was like, I want to say it was a couple days after the hurricane had blown through here, we had this massive monsoon of rain that just kept coming down, and it wasn't even buckets, I'm telling you guys. It was like a straight ocean. And I was actually sleeping in my bed in that room, and what woke me up is I had water pouring on my head. So my bed, the floor, thank goodness it was tile, but my bed, the floor, everything got soaked, and that's what started the whole mess as far as the house being completely damaged and in disarray, and it still is. But thankfully, like I said, my mom was able to find somebody to do those repairs on the outside to finally get it sealed, because literally those boards I showed you on the house here, that were pulled off. I mean, they were buckling, so you could just see right through. And thankfully, my concern was when the gentleman pulled the stuff off to do the repair, I'm thinking that the 2x4s that were framing that room, I was thinking, I'm like, they've got to be rotten. Like, that's not going to be good. But thankfully, he took a look at them and he's like, no, they're not rotten. You're okay. But you do need to get this, you know, he had to obviously put a barrier in between, which should have been there in the first place. I'm just saying. And, you know, he did all that properly. It's sound, it's solid. He also had to reposition the window because the window was never put in there right either. No surprise. So there's the soffits up there now, or the, yeah, soffits? Yeah. So everything can breathe properly, which is great. So at least that part is taken care of. But yeah, I mean, I think we've had a pretty productive day. I'm not complaining. And we're gonna go inside now. We're gonna get cleaned up for the night. We're gonna have some dinner. And then my daughter has to be picked up later on tonight. She gets off at 11 o'clock. So yeah, anyways, progress so far is good. I'm happy with it. And like I said, we'll just have to do this on my next day off. So it is what it is. So for those of you that are Butterbeer fans, they do have a Butterbeer Kisses bag here. Oh my gosh, I think it's huge. $18.49. That is crazy. I like the wrapping on it though. So yeah, all right guys. If that's your thing, they got Butterbeer Kisses. Because it is Butterbeer season, you guys, they also have the Goldfish Butterbeer. And they do also have the Skinny Pop Harry Potter Butterbeer popcorn. So that's interesting. So it looks like the Goldfish is $9.59 and then the popcorn is $6.59. So they definitely have Harry Potter options, obviously, which is pretty cool. We're looking at houseware stuff and I just found the cutest 4-piece glass set. And here's the display that they have, but the cherry one is not out here. Although I do have to say, even though this is on sale for $19.99, that's still $5 a glass. Oh, as cute as they are. Oh man, that's a bummer. That's still way too much in my opinion. Hello, happy Saturday, everyone. I just got off work and the clips you saw previous were from earlier in this week. On Monday, my son and I went out in the backyard. We showed that to you. We took care of some stuff in the yard. And as I had stated, we are going to have to go back out there and do cleanup, some more cleanup. And then eventually I have to run a truck from Home Depot to take the stuff out to the landfill. But yeah, that's kind of sort of how our week has gone with all the overtime hours that I'm working. It's very hard to fit anything else in, of course. So, you know, pretty much we took care of that stuff on Monday. We had other stuff we had to do on Tuesday. And then this past Friday, just yesterday, we were, because I'm going to introduce somebody new that we have in the family, another fur baby. So last year, much like we've had cats throughout the year show up on our doorstep and, you know, here you are, here's the cat distribution system working overtime. We had the puppy distribution system work for us overtime last year. That doesn't happen very often. I'm not saying it can't happen, but obviously more cats than dogs overall. And we did have a puppy show up on our doorstep last year. I kid you guys not. And we did all the things, okay? We took her to have her scanned to see if she was microchipped. She was not. She had no collar, no tags. We contacted the county. We did all the things. We checked. There were no signs. Nobody put anything out in our neighborhood. Nothing was posted online. Nothing. Nada. So we ended up with a new puppy. And by looking at her, if I had to guess, her breed, she's definitely a mixed breed of sorts, but she definitely looks to me like there's some Jack Russell Terrier in there. And when we took her to the vet did agree that more than likely that's probably what it is. But she was trying to determine what the other portion of what she might be is, because it's really hard to tell, because she is not super, super tall, but she's not tiny either, but she does have some long legs. This girl's got legs for days. Anyways, we named her Pumpkin. We will be introducing her to you here in just a few minutes. She was actually supposed to go this past Friday for her spay, and this dog apparently is Houdini in disguise, because she managed to figure out how to open the gate on her crate, and she got out, and I was already down at my desk working, and my daughter got up to use the restroom because my 2 older kids were going to take her to the vet and drop her off for her surgery. And my daughter opens the bathroom door, and she's right there wagging her tail like, hey, good morning, hi. So unfortunately, what she did is she got into a bowl of cat food, because we leave food for the cats down along with water, and she gobbled up food, and so that X'd that, if you will. And I will admit that was a little bit frustrating, but in hindsight it actually turned out to be a really good thing, because I hadn't got around to giving her a bath the night before, because I had wanted to give her a bath so she could be nice and refreshed and relaxed for the next day. Also, I needed to order her a new crate that was a little bit bigger than the one she's been in, because she outgrew it again. And then also order her a bodysuit, like an after surgery little bodysuit, rather than having to deal with the cone, because most animals don't like the cone, and every animal we've ever had, they never leave them on. They always pick them off or pull them off or something. So anyways, like I said, things happen for a reason, and in the moment it was frustrating, but then I got to thinking about it later and realized actually that was in our favor. So her bodysuit came today. We will be washing that for her, getting it ready. Her new crate also arrived today as well. She's already loving it, if you will, because we do crate train, and she does go in there at night so that she doesn't like wander around and get into things. And yeah. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. But so that's kind of just been the week. There probably would have been a few more things in there, other than the fact that we did have to shop at Costco and grab a couple things. But yeah. Anyways, and tomorrow is my Friday, and then we have things to do Monday, Tuesday. Of course, we will take you guys along with us for that. But let me introduce you to the new member of our family. Her name is Pumpkin. She will be a year old in a few more months. She is quite the handful, but she is darn adorable, and it's been an interesting ride, definitely, for sure. Well, everybody, meet Miss Pumpkin. Here she is. And as I had stated, you see her little face? That is definitely like Jack. You say hi to everybody. That's definitely like the Jack Russell Terrier type of a little thing there. But she's about 21 pounds now, and we don't think she's going to get too much bigger than this, because she's pretty, don't mind me, she's pretty, this is pretty much like as big as she's gotten. But yeah, this little person, and she was quite a bit smaller when she showed up on our doorstep. She showed up on our doorstep. She was super skinny. She was hungry. And because we put food out for the cats in the neighborhood, she came over. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She came over wanting food. But yeah, she's a kooky puppy in the best way possible. But Coco now has a sister, and their playtimes together are quite epic, quite busy, quite loud, quite just the things, right? But anyhow, yeah. Say hi to everyone. Say hi, everybody. My name's Pumpkin. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, like I said, there she is. So the good news is they did reschedule her spay for this Tuesday. So that's fine, because I'm actually off. My day's off for Monday, Tuesday. And I'm going to stand here and do the mom thing, like rocking back and forth. My day's off for Monday and Tuesday. And so that'll actually work out perfect, because Monday we can give her a nice warm bath. She just had a bath, honestly, like a couple weeks ago. It hasn't been that long ago. But I do want to give her, I want her to be refreshed, because surgery is not fun. Anesthesia is definitely not fun. And I don't want her, going in there to surgery, I want her to be, you know what I mean. If you guys have ever had any kind of surgery done, you know how that goes. And I have had, all 3 of my kids were C-sections, and that is not a walk in the park. So, I know how it feels. But yeah, we wanted to introduce you to our new puppy. And we do also have some new cats, but I will not throw them in this vlog. That'll be in the next one. That's, again, another whole story. And one of the cats that we have, she's a baby, and she was a lot smaller than she is right now. And all I can say is timing is everything. It's a miracle. So, like I said, I'll get into that in later vlogs. But anyhow, we do hope you guys enjoyed just hanging out with us in the yard. I know life probably, doesn't look that exciting, but it's just, regular stuff that we do, just like anybody else. Yes, you? Yeah? You have anything to say? Want to add anything? No? Nothing? Okay. And yeah, and that's just life. Also, I do want to add, guys, one more thing. If any of you are getting ready to sail with us soon, and when I say we, I'm talking about Disney Cruise Line. If any of you have any cruises coming up, first of all, I just want to say this. I promise we are getting to you. We are processing records as quickly and as fast as we possibly humanly can. So just thank you so much for your patience. We appreciate it. I promise we will get to your records. I promise, I promise, I promise. We are working it. Like I said, all that OT that's exactly what we're doing. We are getting everybody squared away. And when I say cruise line, I'm talking about all the ships, okay? So Magic, Wonder, Dream, Fantasy, Adventure, Destiny, Treasure, Wish. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. I hope I didn't. Man, oh man, I promise we're getting to you guys. So thank you for your patience. I just wanted to say that. We're making it happen. Anyways, so on that note, guys, I hope you have a wonderful, blessed, beautiful day today and always, wherever you may be in the world. And please don't forget to spread love and kindness. Please do not forget to take care of yourselves. And as always, we will definitely see you real soon. So I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. Take care, and we'll see ya. Bye-bye.